Welcome to the Rotary Time Show, a public service program presented by Rotary District 7610, Virginia. On our programs, we talk with Rotarians and community leaders and discuss how Rotary International builds partnerships to support local, national, and world communities. I'm your host, Rotarian Dr. Deborah Jackson from the Rotary Club of McLean, Virginia. The success of a Rotary Club is dependent on the club president. They lead, inspire, motivate, and connect their clubs with communities and others locally and around the world. Joining me remotely is Rotarian John Whisler, who is the president of the Rotary Club of Leesburg, Virginia for the 2024-25 Rotary year. Welcome, President John, to the Rotary Time Show.
Thank you very much, Deborah. It's my pleasure to be here with you today.
Yeah, we're excited to hear about your club and learn some of the great things that Leesburg is doing. We have so many great clubs in the district, so it's always a pleasure to hear what they are doing. But to start us off, I'd like for you to share with our viewing audience a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your education, your professional background, maybe your family.
All right. First off, I was a military brat, so I was born overseas. I was born in Austria, and that caused me, of course, to have to move around the world during my primary and high school years. I actually went to 3 high schools. I graduated from high school in Stuttgart, Germany, in 1971, and then I received an appointment to the military academy at West Point. And ended up going there for the 4 years and was commissioned as a Corps of Engineers officer, where I served in the Corps of Engineers and the Army for 22 years. I retired in 1997 and immediately joined a national level architecture firm ranked in the top 15, where I worked for almost 14 years in Omaha, Nebraska as my base, and traveled all over the country and around the world because they had a presence in so many different places. I moved to Virginia in 2012 to do a job change after being with the architecture firm. And since then, I have worked in a couple of different companies here in the Northern Virginia area on classified programs, so I can't really talk about them a lot, but I am a registered civil engineer, structural engineer. In addition to my degree at Military Academy, I also have a master's degree in structural engineering from the Georgia Institute of Technology.
Wonderful.
My family's been with me the whole time. I'm married almost 50 years next year, and I have 3 grown children who live still in the Midwest because they were attached to Midwest partners, so unfortunately they voted on the partners instead of the parents, and so that's where they are right now, and that's where they'll probably be staying.
All right.
And so I will say that I retired from my profession in August of this year, and so for the last 4 months I've had a lot more time to do my job as Rotary president.
Absolutely. Well, first let me congratulate you on your golden anniversary that you said is coming up real soon. You know, that in itself deserves an applause. And then retirement. George, thank you. Joining us retirees, and you're just going to have a good time. You're going to find you're going to work harder now as a retiree than you did when you were actually working. At least that's been my take on it. But anyway, congrats on those 2 things. Let's talk about your role in leadership now. We know that presidents, they are involved in many different ways. How did you get involved with the Rotary Club of Leesburg, and what reason did you have for stepping up to the presidency?
Well, first off, this is my 3rd Rotary Club. My first club was in Omaha, Nebraska for about 14 years. And the company that I joined there required all the executives in the company to join Rotary, and we weren't allowed to be in the same club as any other executive in the firm. So we had to spread out so that we would have networking throughout the city. And then when I came here, I joined the Fairfax Rotary Club, and it was a lunch club. And then a couple of years after joining them, I ended up transferring to a job up in Maryland, near Laurel, Maryland. And unfortunately, that precluded my ability to go to a luncheon meeting. And so my wife was scanning the newspaper one night and saw that the Leesburg Club met in the evening. And I believed that that was probably doable, more doable. And so I joined that club a number of years ago, just out of convenience. The reason that I accepted my role as president was because in these various clubs where I've served, I've done almost all the hard jobs: secretary, fundraising, etc. And I just felt like when I was asked that it was time to give back. So it was just that time.
Absolutely, especially when you've done it all. But the role of the president is time now to serve. So thank you for saying yes to serving as president of your club. Let's talk about your vision now for your club. When you began your term, what were some of your key goals that you had in mind?
Well, obviously, the way that it works around here is that you are selected as president-elect during the previous year, and so it gives you about 7 or 8 months to start thinking about the things that you've observed that you like, the things that you don't like, and that helped me form up my list of 7 goals. First off, after COVID, we took some decreases in our membership as a result of COVID. And we also lost some people because of the makeup of our club being having a lot of older people. We lost some members due to death and sickness. So my first goal was to recover from the dip in membership and get us back not only to where we were, but I have a goal this year to try to get us to 70 from our long established goal of right around 60 members. And then the second thing was to as well, because of the COVID impact, we had some hits to our financial programs. And so I wanted to get us back into good health financially. We do have a substantial scholarship program. And so I wanted to make sure that we continue doing the things that we do in the community with our scholarship and awarding the same amount of scholarships that we have in the past. And then we want to make sure that we had effective community support. So we have a number of areas where we provide human support to people in need. And I wanted to make sure that we not only did those, but that we grew into a couple of other new areas. And then finally, we wanted to make sure that we recognize two members in the community who are not Rotarians for visibility of our club in the community. The next goal was making sure that we had very high quality programs because we have found in our club that the people, if you're having a inward focused program about some kind of review of where you are financially and so forth, you'll see a lot fewer members come to those. But when we have a great speaker from NASA or something like that, we'll see a lot more members showing up. So we try to make sure that we have a very exciting program for almost all the meetings of the year. And then in 2027, we have our 100th anniversary of our club. And so one of our goals is to make sure that we have a great community program that allows people outside of Rotary to join us and celebrate. And then as well, we want to put some kind of a marker, a clock or some kind of marker in the downtown of Leesburg in celebration of our 100th anniversary. And then finally, the most important thing is making sure that while we're doing all this hard work, that we're having fun. So we meet on formally on 4 Thursdays of the month. And what we want to do is make sure that on the 5th one that we have some kind of a social event where we can, in fact, have members come to other events.
It's wonderful. It's nice hearing the various things because every club is doing something a little different. Some meet twice a month, some meet 3 times a month. You meet 4, actually you're meeting 5 times a month, but you're making that 5th time the real, is it fun? So it's wonderful to hear that. And I like the recognition of the community. The community oftentimes doesn't even know you're there, until you begin to start recognizing them, and it just draws attention to you from others as well. So great job. And those scholarships, is that your local high school that you are presenting those scholarships to?
That is correct. And we give three $15,000 scholarships in our community to these high school students. And we normally have quite a large number of students who are competing for those.
That's wonderful. That is, that's a plus. That's a plus, you know, to give back to our youth in the community, because they are our youth and they are our future. So thank you for that. What's been the most challenging piece of all of this? Because you've got 4 really lofty, great goals. What's been your challenge, or maybe you haven't seen the challenge just yet?
No, I think the biggest challenge that we all focus as presidents is, we always did it this way. And getting over the pattern that your club has been in for a long time, and the exact techniques of how you do things, and trying to break away from that where it's appropriate, so that you're relevant to the younger generation. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I've seen.
How do you ensure that your members feel engaged and valued?
Well, first of all, we engage in projects that make them feel, that they have really done something for the community that's worthwhile. Secondly, we communicate back to them with our thanks whenever they do those things. We show them, for the members who didn't participate, we show, what the outcomes were visibly, and we, let them know that we appreciated what they did in front of everybody else.
And that's special. To be able to do that. You do it during the event or just after the event, or at the end of the year?
We'll do it during the event every time. We review what happened in the last week or the last couple of weeks, especially those things that are project focused, and we review that with all the members present at the meeting.
Okay, that's wonderful. So every meeting there's a celebration.
Yes.
Yeah, that's huge. Let's talk about your community impact. But before we do that, we're going to take a short break and be right back to talk more with President John and more about the Leesburg Club. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the Rotary Times. We're here talking with Rotarian John Whisler, the president of the Rotary Club of Leesburg, Virginia, for the 2024-25 Rotary year. We've just heard some really great things about the kinds of goals you all have for the club. President John, talk to us about the community's impact now. Can you share some of the recent projects that you all have engaged in?
Absolutely. So we like to do things that are focused on humanitarian efforts, veterans, homeless, hungry, and so forth. Our first project that we have been doing for a long time that I'll mention today is the Boulder Crest Retreat, which is a retreat out in Loudoun County for veterans who are experiencing PTSD, distress. They need a place to get away with their families, and so it's a nice retreat area. We go there once a month and we cook a meal for the residents, usually on a Saturday night, and their families who are staying at the retreat. We also do Grace to Go, which is a local church that services the hungry We'll cook 125 to 140 meals on a Saturday, rack them all up in a refrigerator, and then on Sunday, people drive up in their cars and we provide that to them. We also do food sorting at Loudoun Hunger Relief, which again is the food bank, the large food bank in Loudoun County, where various establishments can donate food. We'll go in there with a team of 6 to 10 Rotarians on a Saturday once a month, sort the food into packages that can be easily just handed over to somebody, so that they don't have to stand in line and wait for a long time. We'll put those into some kind of an organized fashion as well. And then we also do a new program, which is called Good Shepherd. And it is a series of 4 houses for abused and homeless women and children. We do mostly exterior projects, keeping up with the grounds, doing maintenance on the houses. And for a project over the winter at one of these this winter, we're going to be putting together an arts and crafts room and an outbuilding for them. And then finally, we do some things associated with the African American veterans of various wars at cemeteries here in Leesburg, in association with Wreaths Across America. And so this next Saturday, we'll be putting out about 85 wreaths on the graves of those folks.
Wonderful, absolutely. Did I hear recently, and I could be wrong, that the last member of the Tuskegee Airmen, that living member, passed away in the Loudoun, Leesburg area? I'm just wondering when you mentioned the flags for the veterans.
That is correct. I heard the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, I just heard that. Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that, and also thank you for your previous service as well. Let's talk about your collaboration, because it sounds like you all are doing a lot. Do you collaborate with other clubs in your general area where you could have an even greater impact, or you just kind of go at it alone?
You know, we could do a better job there. We haven't habitually done, we will announce when other clubs in the area ask us to announce events for their clubs. But lately we've been working on having a closer relationship with the Purcellville Club. Mm-hmm. And so we have an event coming up in February that we plan on inviting them to attend. And I think we have a great opportunity to do that. So looking forward to hopefully having some success.
Yeah, good luck with that, because I know how important it is, because you double your impact when you're working with someone else as well. So it's good to hear. How about a signature program? Does your club have a particular one that is offered every year? It's your main initiative?
So we have 2. I would say that they're in parallel with each other, because they are based on 2 different financial entities within our club, our club's foundation and then our scholarship fund. And so on the foundation side, we do every May a croquet tournament with about a dozen teams, which have country themes for food and drink and so forth. And we will raise somewhere around $15,000 to $18,000 and give back to entities, charities in our community that are needing that money. We'll usually give back $10,000 to them. The other program is our scholarship program, that I mentioned previously with the high schools, and it is a completely separate entity that does 3 scholarships. We try to focus on students who are not in the first tier. What I mean by first tier are the ones that have the 4.9 grade point averages, and their parents make $250,000 and so forth. We're looking for the next tier that may not get a good look in the scholarship pool whenever they're going out for scholarships. Their parents are really needy. They may come from a single family. They may be immigrants who are having a hard time making it in the community in general. And so we'll focus on those groups. And then we also do up to $10,000 for people who are in programs where you're learning to be a plumber or a cook or something like that, so that we can help them with money for their computers or tools or whatever, for those kinds of programs.
Yes, thank you, John, for that. I think sometimes some of those trades, professional trades, get overlooked. I heard someone say the other day, a plumber, it makes $200 and some dollars sometime a visit. So but we don't think about that. We think about everyone going to the college or university route when there are other things that young people can engage in that are just as lucrative. So thank you for paying
Absolutely.
attention to some of that as well. Yeah.
But those kids sometimes when they start out, they don't know they're going to make that much money, and they come from a family that wanted them to go to college, and they don't have anything for the tools or anything for the computer to get them started while they're in trade school. So it's very useful for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Membership. Well, we know that's the lifeblood of Rotary. What strategies have you used in your club to attract new members?
We do it by referrals of our members themselves. We're interested in quality, not quantity. Mm-hmm. And so we find that we don't lose the typical 15% a year turnover because we're being very careful about who we seek to add to the club. It's not like a good old boy sort of approach. What I'm saying is we want people who are going to actually provide service, people who understand what our goals are and are aligned with our goals, and people who have the financial wherewithal so that they don't get surprised and then leave the club after 6 months because they didn't realize how much it was going to cost to be an effective Rotarian. So, mm-hmm. So we make sure that we vet them very carefully. We follow our bylaws. We have a 3-meeting process in which we get to know them and they get to know us. And we're very dedicated, making sure that we recruit quality members.
Wonderful. How did your club engage younger generations like Early Act or Rotaract or Interact? Do you have any of those in your club? Any of those organizations in your club?
We've been associated with one of the high schools on the Interact front for probably 10 or longer years. The same person does it in our club, and we usually engage with between 50 and 75 of the high school students. We invite them to some of our activities. For example, our croquet tournament that I mentioned earlier. They usually field a team and they help us to run the event as referees and so forth. We also do other things in the community where we work together as partners, including on Wreaths Across America.
Wonderful. So what has been the most rewarding part of serving as club president?
Well, first of all, being appreciated for doing it. Because we're a 60-person club, we have members who go back 45 years, and they've been president, and they know how hard it is to be an effective president. So first of all, being appreciated is very much makes me be inspired. Mm-hmm. Knowing that I'm giving back, makes me feel great. I get feedback from the people that we help, and that feedback sometimes make you almost want to cry. Mm. And so knowing that we're doing great things for other people is certainly something that's inspiring. And I'd say those are the big ones.
Oh, wonderful! It's always good to hear. Very quickly, with one word, what's this experience been like for you? In one word.
It's been a growth experience.
Growth. Okay, that's good to hear. I oftentimes ask that question because it depends on the president and the kinds of things they're dealing with. But we love it when people are growing because as you grow, we get better and our clubs get better. So thank you for that. And now I'd like to say thank you for joining us today on the Rotary Times Show. We appreciate the fact that you said yes to the ask and hear you share about your amazing Leesburg club. So thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll come back and join us again a little bit later.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Rotary Times program, I am your host, Rotarian Dr. Deborah Jackson from the Rotary Club of McLean, Virginia. You're welcome to join us at a Rotary Club in your area for either breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a service project. You can find a club near you by just looking us up on the internet. Many clubs are hosting meetings in person, virtually, or in some hybrid format. You only need to look us up for details. Remember, our time is your time, and it's time well spent. So I want you to think about this and think about it hard. Join us for our next program as we continue to celebrate Rotary's 118 years of service above self. Funding for this program is made possible by the generosity of Rotarian Lynn Heinrichs, State Farm Agency, McLean, Virginia.